Hello and welcome to Hot Rod 271 FTW presents Hot Rod's top 10 Age of the Primes figures for 2025. It's been a good year for Age of the Primes, really. Can't really complain with any of these figures. Going to present the top, but I'm going to start with the honourable mentions first. So with that out of the way, we'll just begin. First up on the Age of the Primes honourable mentions list is Skydive. I didn't find myself coming back to this one as often as say like Megatronus or Primer or Quintus, but he's not too bad of a figure. He's well done. His transformation's insane, but I just couldn't find myself coming back to playing with this one as much as say like, as I said, Megatronus, Primer or Quintus. That out of the way, there's the first honourable mention. Now we'll move on to honourable mention number 2, and then we can get the list started. The last honourable mention, I would like to put the Age of the Primes 2026 Leader Class Big Convoy. Again, the same reason as Skybite. He's fun. His transformation's cool. He resembles a woolly mammoth. His robot mode's really interesting. Comes with the big cannon. Comes with everything that Big Convoy should have, but I'm not familiar with the character Big Convoy. But he's a pretty cool figure nonetheless. That out of the way, there's the honourable mentions, and now I'd like to start off this list will be the Age of the Primes Leader Class Megatronus, the Fallen. The first Leader Class Prime of the Age of the Primes line. He's definitely one of the best figures, one of the best Megatronus figures we've received. His transformation's pretty cool. His robot mode's pretty cool. His tank mode reminds me of a Scorpion from Halo. If you've ever played Halo, you'll know what I'm talking about. Comes with the Requiem Blaster, sword, machete, spear weapon. He's got all these blast effects to simulate his body's ablaze. And he's got the barrel of the tank. But yeah, that's Megatronus. Definitely worth having in your collection, but unfortunately I'm going to have to knock him out early on. Next up is the Voyager class Alpha Trion. The young version of Alpha Trion. The older version came with Orion Pax and the original Legacy. He's not bad. He's really fun. Like, he's got his cool robot mode. His transformation to his spaceship mode is cool. Comes with the Quill and the Covenant of Primus accessories. His shoulder pads also come detached in the box. These bits here, the pylons, and his Autobot insignia can come off and act as an accessory as well. But yeah, like, there are other figures that I find to be more enjoyable. With that out of the way, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say goodbye to Alpha Trion, and the next figure to be knocked off the list figure to be knocked off the list will be the Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Quintus Prime. He's really cool. He comes with the Ember Stone. He's got his arms. He's even got light piping, look. He's got translucent feet and legs, but that's not a bad thing, really. He's so cool. And he's just fun to mess around with. Really enjoyable robot mode. His transformation to his craft mode is actually really cool. But yeah, I picked this up from EB Games last week. Not last week, sorry, last month. Really enjoying him. But with that out of the way, we're going to have to say goodbye to Quintus and start focusing on the next figure, which will be the first Combaticon of the Age of the Primes toyline, which is Vortex. Really, really nice figure. The only problem I have is if you connect a pistol or one of his little pistols to, I think it's that port there in his arm, it's really loose. But yeah, like, he's real fun to mess around with. Fun robot mode, fun transformation. If you're going for Bruticus, he's definitely worth having in your collection. With that out of the way, we're going to have to knock out the first Combaticon of the set, and the next figure will be... The next figure in the Age of the Primes list will be Deluxe Class Fireflight. It's a redeco, remold of Slingshot from Wave 1. He's primarily red. The difference between Slingshot and Fireflight's vehicle mode is Fireflight's got a longer nose cone. But other than that, he's pretty fun to mess around with, but he's probably, in my opinion, the weakest of the aerial bots. But with that out of the way, there's Fireflight. Now we're going to focus on the next figure, which is the Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Skydive. He's a redeco of Air Raid. His transformation's pretty much the same as Air Raid, but the way you combine Air Raid, I'll show it off when I get to Superion in the Superion segment. But he's not bad actually. I don't mind the Skydive, but he's not my favourite of the Aerial Bot Deluxes. But he's, yeah, fun to mess around with in robot and jet mode. If you can get him, get him. I recommend him. I recommend the whole Aerial Bot set. Even though, like, when they combine, it's just like glorified armor and glorified gap fellas. But neither no harm, no foul. They're good figures, you know. Probably some of the best aerial bots we've had in a long time. But with that out of the way, we're going to have to knock out Skydive and focus on the next figure, which is... So next up in the Age of the Primes list is my Cronus Prime. This part here is my Cronus. This part here is the Apex armor, I believe. Yeah, my Cronus isn't too bad. Translucent blue, comes with his Prime artifact, the Chimera Stone, and there's the armor. What's really cool is you got to transform my Cronus into his Minicon storage panel mode to store in his chest. I'll get a photo at the end of it and I'll show you. But other than that, yeah, that's my Cronus out of the way. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say goodbye to my Cronus and we'll focus on the next figure, which will be the Age of the Primes Voyager Class Primer. Yeah, he was the first Age of the Primes figure that I bought, actually. Not too bad. His transformation to his Lunar Rover, or whatever you want to call it, mode, it's alright. I wouldn't say it's the best thing. Comes with the Matrix and his Prime artifact, the Star Saber. But there are better Primes, better figures than Primer. But yeah, he's not too bad. Fun to mess around with. First, as I said, first figure in the line that I got, or one of the first figures, sorry. Yeah, there's Primer, so moving on. So next up is the Age of the Primes Voyager Class Amalgamous Prime. I bought this guy very recently when I went away for a Pokemon Go trip. He turns into whatever you can imagine. Like, you can have him as a truck, you can have him as a train, a ship, a walker. Basically one of those weaponizers from Siege, but done so much better. And you notice he doesn't have his eye currently. That's because it's his Prime artifact, also known as the Cog of Transformation. And yeah, it's so well done. But yeah, there's Amalgamous Prime, and next up in our list will be the Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Blastoff. I got this guy late last month and he's absolutely superb. Like, his robot mode's cool, his transformation shuttle mode's fun, and yeah, just overall enjoyable figure. With that out of the way, there's Blastoff. I got him in a flight stand, and yeah, just overall he's fun to mess around with. So with that out of the way, we're going to knock out Blastoff from our list, and then we're going to move on to the next figure, which is the Primes Deluxe Air Raid. One of the first deluxes that was released and then I bought. Robot mode's pretty cool. Transformation to jet mode's pretty cool. Transformation to combined mode is alright. I wouldn't say it's cool, I wouldn't say it's bad. But yeah, Air Raid, one of my favourite aerial bots. Fun to mess around with, fun to transform, fun to mess around with. just overall an enjoyable figure. It comes with two dual blasters. Out of the way, we're going to have to say goodbye to Air Raid, and the next figure will be Age of the Primes Deluxe Slingshot. Same as Air Raid. Same reasons why I have with Air Raid. Transformation of robot mode and vehicle mode is cool. You got to poke him to take him apart to connect him to Superion. But yeah, overall, he's not too bad. He's pretty good, fun to mess around with, fun robot mode, fun jet mode. Just gotta say goodbye to Slingshot now and focus on the next figure, which will be Primes Commander Silverbolt. Hard to believe that we're now in the top 3. He's fun to mess around with. His robot mode's cool, his transformation to jet mode's cool, his transformation to the torso of Superion's a lot of fun. It also comes with a big rifle and a bigger rifle, big little trailer pack. The combine that just doesn't make any sense, so I've left it to the side for it's basically, to put a long story short, to house the limbs and the main body for Superion. But with that out of the way, there's Silverbolt. Now we'll be focusing on the next figure, which will be a continuation from this part, which is the Age of the Primes Superion with all 5 Aerobots combined together. Now, Superion is my favourite combiner. It's probably the best Superion figure we've had in a while. So as I was saying earlier, there's Air Raid and Skydive being glorified gap fillers connected up with the way that the original Transformers combiners with like the bodies. It's kind of hard to explain. Face to front. There's Fireflight with the long nose cone, Slingshot, Silverbolt in the middle. But yeah, overall. Oh, one gripe that I have with Superion is the antenna parts can come off pretty easy. But other than that, solid figure. With that out of the way, there's the aerial bots. So now we've got 2 figures left to contend with, and I'll round this video out. So starting off the top 2, we have the Age of the Primes Voyager class Combaticon Brawl. With most of the combiners, it's normally that, as I said with Superion, they're 4 deluxes and a commander. But I think with what they're doing with Bruticus is making Brawl and Swindle Voyagers and combining them differently to how they combine Superion and Menasor. But yeah, just a little tangent. Brawl's pretty fun. His robot mode's pretty cool. Comes with his blasters, his tank barrel, and his firearm. His transformation to tank mode is pretty cool. His articulation's good. Can combine to Bruticus, which I have not attempted to make his combine mode yet. I'm waiting till Onslaught gets released before I do that. But other than that, he's solid figure, fun to mess around with, and he gets 2nd spot. I got him at the same time as I got Blast Off and SS-86 Wing Charger and Age of the Primes Quick Strike. But other than that, that's Brawl. Now we're going to go and discuss it. For the winner of the Age of the Primes 2025 toy line, in my opinion, is the leader class Onyx Prime. It was a toss-up between Megatronus and this guy. Comes with his artifact, the Triptych Mask. Transforms into his robot, transforms into a centaur, and his beast mode. His beast mode looks like akin to Prime Predaking. But other than that, yeah, that's basically it. Onyx Prime gets the top dog for 2025. But yeah, in conclusion, that was my list of the Age of the Primes 2025 list. Pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with how most of these turned out. Then again, there are some figures that could be better. With that out of the way, guys, I'd like to wish everyone a happy holidays. and a happy new year. Peace.